You've been asking why everything feels heavier now than it did before. Why the path that once felt clear now feels like walking through fog. Why the fire in others is dimming. Why the voices that once stood strong have gone silent. You've noticed it, haven't you? How people slowly drift away. Not always in rebellion, sometimes just in quiet resignation. They stop showing up. They stop believing for more. They stop expecting me to move. And while you've watched that happen, you felt a growing weight in your own soul. A kind of spiritual tension that you haven't been able to explain. You've wondered if it's you, if you're the one fading, if maybe you're next. But hear me now clearly, you are not fading. You are being refined. What you're feeling is not failure, it's friction. You are rubbing up against the systems, patterns, and illusions that others have surrendered to, but that your spirit can no longer tolerate. The difference is not in your strength, but in your sensitivity. You are more sensitive now than you've ever been. More aware, more awake, more spiritually alive. And yes, that awareness is painful. It makes you grieve things others celebrate. It makes you uncomfortable in rooms where compromise is normal. It makes you restless in environments that used to satisfy you. That's not regression. That's growth. You're not becoming colder, you're being set apart. You're not becoming distant, you're becoming clear. I've been stripping away what's artificial in you, because where I'm taking you, there can be no pretense. I've been confronting you in silence not because I'm angry, but because I'm investing. My silence has not been my absence. It has been my invitation, an invitation to depth, to stillness, to real foundation. You've been surviving off revelation you received years ago, but now I'm calling you into a place where daily presence becomes your source. You don't need more hype. You need more of me. This is where many turn back, right here, in this middle ground between what was and what is coming. This is where most people stop walking, not because they reject me, but because they begin to settle. They find a rhythm that's comfortable and call it contentment. They lose the hunger because the cost becomes too high, and slowly they begin to live off memory instead of encounter, off structure instead of spirit, off momentum instead of revelation. That's why it feels like so many around you are disappearing, not physically but spiritually. They've stopped responding, and I grieve that with you. But you, child, have not been called to settle. You were made to endure. You were formed to finish. You carry a grace that others don't understand, and that's okay. They weren't supposed to carry what I gave you. Your journey has always been different. Your fire has always burned deeper. Even when you tried to blend in, I marked you. Even when you tried to quiet your passion, I stirred it. You've never fit in fully, and you never will. Because you weren't created for comfort. You were created for communion. Real, raw, unfiltered communion with me. That's why I let the shaking come. That's why I allowed the disappointment. That's why I didn't rescue you from the tension. I was never punishing you. I was preparing you. You asked me to use you. You said, God, I'll go wherever you send me. And I took you at your word. I began forming you in places where no one was watching. I began testing your yes in private, because what's coming cannot be sustained by performance. It can only be held by those who have stayed long enough in the furnace to be trusted with fire. You've endured seasons that would have broken others. You've walked through betrayal, isolation, confusion, and deep inner battles that no one else has seen. But I've seen them. I've counted every tear. I've sat with you in the loneliness. I've whispered when all you heard was silence, and I have not forgotten your faithfulness. You think you've been quiet, but in the spirit, your endurance has been loud. Every time you stayed when you wanted to leave, every time you kept serving when your heart was tired, every time you prayed through your own pain to intercede for someone else, that has been worship. and I have received every moment of it. Only the chosen stay until the end, not because they're stronger, but because they've learned to stay connected, to return, to fall and rise again, to reach for me when their hands are shaking, to believe again when it hurts. The end is not for the flawless, it's for the faithful, and you, beloved, are still here. That's the proof. I know you don't always feel chosen. Some days you feel forgotten. Other days you feel like the one who got left behind. But I need you to understand, your survival has not been random. Your sensitivity has not been a burden. Your quiet persistence is not weakness. You're walking proof that my grace is enough. You are a vessel still standing, not because of what you've built, but because of what you've surrendered. And your surrender is what I can build on. Don't envy those who seem to rise quickly. Don't compare your process to those whose foundations were never tested. Some build fast, others build deep, and the deep ones look slow until the storm comes. When everything starts shaking, it's the ones who went deep with me that remain standing. And you, my child, have been going deep, even when you didn't know it. Every unanswered prayer, every silent night, every test you thought you failed. I was digging. I was anchoring. I was making sure that when the next season came, you wouldn't crumble under the weight of what I placed on you. This is not the time to let go. This is not the time to dim your light. This is not the time to second-guess the voice you've been following. Yes, the road is narrow. Yes, it is costly. Yes, it can feel lonely. But it ends in glory and fire in me. And I am worth it, and I am calling you to stay, not out of fear, not out of duty, out of love, out of relationship, out of covenant, because I've never left you, not for a second. And now, more than ever, I need your yes. Not just your yes to serve, your yes to stay, your yes to burn, your yes to believe again, when others have walked away. This is what separates the called from the chosen. The chosen stay, not just through the beginning, not just through the middle, but until the end. I see you. Not the version of you that you show the world, not the performance you've learned to maintain, not the filtered expression of strength you've rehearsed to avoid falling apart in front of people who wouldn't understand. I see you. I see the questions you carry that you're too afraid to ask out loud. I see the weight behind your smile. I see the weariness that sits beneath your consistency. I see the hope you still cling to in secret. I see your heart. And I want you to know before anything else, I'm not disappointed in you. I'm not frustrated with your pace, or surprised by your struggle, or angry about the moments when you wanted to give up. You've misread my silence as judgment, but it never was. My silence was a sanctuary, a space for your soul to be stripped of every performance and reintroduced to the truth of who you are, not because of what you do, but because you are mine. You think I've been distant, but I've actually been closer than ever, watching, guarding, waiting, not just waiting on your breakthrough, waiting for you to finally see yourself the way I do. I've never called you average. I've never labeled you as behind. I've never placed expectations on you that I didn't already equip you to carry. The harsh voice that critiques your pace, your emotions, your perceived failures, that's not me. That's a lie, born out of pressure and performance. And today I'm calling that voice to silence. You've measured yourself by the wrong scale for far too long. You've used other people's progress to decide your value. You've let comparison poison your clarity. But you don't need to be where they are. You only need to be where I have placed you. And right now you are exactly where I want you. Not perfect, not finished, but positioned, present, available. And that matters more than you know. I've watched you show up when it was hard. I've seen you keep going when everything in you begged for an exit. I've heard the moments when your faith turned into a whisper and your strength turned into survival. But even then, I didn't look away. I didn't withdraw. I didn't wait for you to get it together. I came closer. Not to fix you, but to hold you. I've been more interested in your heart than in your performance. I always have. You think I'm only proud of you when you're at your best, but that's not true. I was proud of you when you got back up after falling. I was proud of you when you chose kindness instead of revenge. I was proud of you when you asked for help. I was proud of you when you cried in my presence instead of pretending everything was fine. Those moments count. They count more than public success or outward perfection. They're the proof that your heart's still alive, still tender, still responsive, still mine. And that's what I want most. Not your perfection, but your presence. Not your output, but your openness. I'm not asking for more from you. I'm asking for more of you. The real you. The one behind the effort. The one who sometimes doesn't feel spiritual enough. The one who wonders if they're still qualified. That's the one I want. That's the one I died to redeem. That's the one I've loved since the beginning. So come close again. Not because you have to earn my attention, but because you already have it. You don't need to climb your way back into favor. You never fell out of it. You don't need to pray perfect prayers or show up with spiritual intensity to get my approval. I'm already here. I'm already listening. I'm already in the room. And I'm not going anywhere. I want to restore the simplicity of our connection, the quiet peace of knowing you don't have to be impressive to be loved. I want to take the weight off your shoulders, the pressure to perform, the anxiety to prove, the fear of failing again. That's not your inheritance. Your inheritance is rest. It's knowing that you're mine, fully, even when you feel unworthy. Especially when you feel unworthy. My love doesn't retreat when you're low. It wraps itself around you and carries you home. You keep asking what I want from you. Here's my answer. I want you, fully. Not just your spiritual disciplines, not just your strengths. I want the fears you've been hiding. I want the insecurity you've been carrying. I want the anger that still rises when you think of the betrayal. I want the bitterness you've tried to bury. I want the part of you that still wonders if I'm even listening. Bring it all. I can handle it. I already know it's there. And I still choose you. Don't believe the lie that tells you you're disqualified. Don't believe the voice that says you've wasted too much time. Nothing is wasted in my hands. I'm the only one who knows how to redeem lost time. I'm the only one who turns what was broken into something beautiful. What you see as delay, I see as preparation. What you feel as weakness, I see as surrender. What you call failure, I call formation. You're not too far, you're not too late. You're not too tired, you're not too complicated. You are loved, you are known, you are called, you are chosen. Not in theory, but in truth. Not in emotion, but in covenant. And that's why I'm still here, still speaking, still reaching, because I haven't changed my mind about you, and I never will. So let go of the fear, lay down the shame, release the guilt, and simply come back. I'm not waiting to punish you. I'm waiting to walk with you. Let me take you deeper, not just into destiny, but into identity. Because when you know who you are in me, the pressure breaks, the fear dissolves, the striving ends, and peace begins. This is your invitation, not just to keep going, but to walk closely again. Not to chase success, but to return to the sound of my voice. I miss you, not because you left me, but because your heart has been busy trying to carry things alone. Let me carry you again. You were never meant to do this in your strength, and you don't have to anymore. I know you've asked me why it had to hurt this way, why the loss, the silence, the rejection, the betrayal, why I allowed the very things you feared to happen, why I watched as people you trusted walked away, why I let the promise seem so close, only to feel like it slipped through your fingers. Why it seemed like you were forgotten while others were being promoted. Why, if I love you, did I allow the kind of breaking that made you question if I even heard you at all? I heard every question. Not one was ignored. I felt every tear. Not one was wasted. I was there in every moment, not from a distance, but from within it. You think I was silent because I didn't care, but my silence was not indifference. It was deep work. And now it's time I explain what I was doing. The pain you walked through was never random. It was never punishment. It was a preparation, a forming of foundations that could not be built in comfort. You asked me to take you deeper. You asked me to make you strong. You said, "God, use me." And I said yes. But the answer to that kind of prayer rarely begins with applause. It often begins with fire. You were not broken to be destroyed. You were broken to be rebuilt the right way. There were parts of you, your self-image, your identity, your beliefs about love and worth and purpose, that had been shaped by the wrong voices. And if I had taken you forward without dealing with those layers, success would have become your identity. Achievement would have become your God. Influence would have replaced intimacy. And that is not what I called you to. So I allowed the breaking. I allowed the loss. I allowed the separation, not to abandon you, but to remove what couldn't come with you. There are people who left your life not because you weren't valuable, but because they were not assigned to your next season. There are dreams that died not because you failed, but because I had something better, something you would not have accepted without first releasing your grip on what you thought was best. You begged me to stop the pain, and I heard you. But what you didn't see was what the pain was unlocking inside of you. It was in the breaking that your real hunger for me was born. It was in the disappointment that your prayers became honest again. It was in the betrayal that your discernment sharpened. It was in the silence that your ear became sensitive to my whispers. You were not being ignored. You were being trained. Look back, not with shame, but with new eyes. Look at how much you've changed. You used to depend on people's validation. Now you crave my voice. You used to hide behind your performance. Now you come to me in weakness and let me hold you. You used to run from stillness. Now you seek it. That didn't happen by accident. That happened through the refining of pain. I don't waste suffering, and I never let you walk through more than I can redeem. Even the places where you think you failed, I will use them. Even the consequences of your own mistakes, I will transform them. You're not disqualified because you struggled, you're deepened because you stayed. Even if your faith wavered, even if you questioned me, even if you got angry, the fact that you're still reaching proves your foundation held. And this is why the enemy fought you so hard. He didn't come after you because of your past. He came after you because of your future. He saw what was inside you. He saw the authority you were about to carry. He saw the clarity being formed in you. He saw the purity of your heart, even when no one else did. He saw that I had chosen you, and he tried to break your belief, but he failed. You're still here. You're stronger than you think, not because of your own effort, but because of the work I've done in you, and I'm not done. What felt like loss is becoming oil. What felt like isolation is becoming revelation. What felt like punishment is becoming purpose. I know the pain was real. I'm not minimizing it, but I'm reinterpreting it, because now you're ready to see it for what it was. Not a grave, but a garden. I allowed you to feel things deeply so that you would become someone who heals deeply. I allowed you to experience rejection so you would never build your worth on applause. I allowed the silence so you would learn to hear me without noise. I allowed the pause so you would never confuse movement with maturity. All of it had purpose. Every tear watered something eternal. Every ache shaped something unshakable. And now that seed is beginning to break through the soil. Don't look at your wounds as reasons to disqualify yourself. Look at them as signs that you've survived the very things that were designed to stop you. You carry wisdom now that can't be taught, only lived. You carry weight now that others will sense when you speak. You carry peace that comes only through knowing you've walked through fire and still carry the fragrance of worship. That is the evidence of a chosen one. That is the strength of those who stay until the end. I didn't save you from the fire. I stood in it, with you. And now I'm walking you out of it. Not just healed, but transformed. Not just restored, but equipped. And as you step forward, don't be surprised when I begin to redeem the very places where the pain once ruled. You'll begin to see new life spring up where it once felt like death. You'll begin to feel joy where there used to be numbness. You'll begin to experience freedom in places that once felt locked down. This is not the end of your story. This is the chapter where pain gives way to power. This is where mourning turns to movement. This is where heaviness breaks under the weight of glory. What you carried was never a curse. It was a calling being refined through pressure. And now you will see why only the chosen stay until the end. What if I told you that the shift has already begun? That you're not waiting for something to start, but that something has already been initiated, quietly, spiritually, beyond your senses? What if I told you that while you were doubting your own prayers, I had already set in motion the answers? That while you were grieving what seemed like another delay, I had already activated a release in the realm you cannot see yet? This is not a hope. This is not a theory. This is a spiritual fact. I have already begun to do the very thing I promised you I would do. You've measured progress by what your eyes can see, but I never asked you to walk by sight. I asked you to trust me in the unseen, because the most powerful movements of my hand rarely start with fanfare. They begin in secret, in silence, in slow shifts of atmosphere, in relationships being restructured, in internal clarity forming where there once was confusion. And if you pay attention, you'll begin to notice the signs. You've started to lose your appetite for things that used to satisfy. That's not fatigue, it's spiritual preparation. You've noticed certain people slowly drifting from your life. That's not rejection, it's divine separation. You've begun to feel a new kind of urgency, not driven by fear, but by something deeper, something sacred. That's me awakening you to alignment. These are signs, not coincidences. I am getting your spirit ready for what I'm about to place into your hands. Some promises come quickly, others carry weight, and I will never place weight on a structure that cannot sustain it. That's why I allowed the slow process. Not because you were forgotten, but because what I've planned for you could not be built in haste. It had to be carved, shaped, refined, and now the foundation is ready. You may still feel unqualified, unprepared, unsure, but I never needed your perfection. I needed your permission, and you've given it. Even in your weakness, your yes has been steady, and now I will honor it. There are doors about to open that no man can shut. Some will open without your effort. Others will open because you finally believe you're worthy to walk through them. I'm aligning your mind before I release the manifestation, because I don't just want to bless you. I want you to recognize it when it comes. You've missed nothing. What is for you cannot be taken, only delayed. And that delay ends now. Watch for divine interruptions. Not everything I bring will come through your plans. Some answers will arrive as disruptions, as unexpected conversations, as redirections that seem inconvenient at first. Don't resist them. I'm not just answering prayers, I'm fulfilling purpose. That means I'll sometimes reroute you to protect what I'm building in you. Trust the detours. They are part of the design. You've also been asking for confirmation, and I've been sending it. In repeated phrases, in specific dreams, in scripture that follows you from one day to the next, in moments of peace that make no sense, in divine tension that refuses to let you settle. These are not small things. They are my fingerprints on your timeline. You are not lost. You are being guided. And I never guide a life I don't intend to elevate. There are people you haven't met yet who are already assigned to bless you. Connections you didn't initiate that are being drawn to your name. Not because you campaigned for attention, but because I've placed your name in the right rooms at the right time. You won't have to knock on every door. Some will swing open without warning. That's favor. And it comes not from striving, but from being chosen. And yes, there will be moments where fear tries to return. When the old narrative whispers, "This is too good to be true," or "You're not ready for this." But I will remind you, this is not happening because you deserve it. It's happening because I decreed it. And what I decree, no man, no mistake, no delay can cancel. I will begin to confirm things quickly now. What took years to understand will suddenly make sense. What felt like wasted time will be revealed as divine setup. What seemed lost will return in new form, restored, multiplied, unrecognizable, to the version of you that once begged for it. I'm not giving you the past back. I'm giving you what the past was supposed to prepare you for. You are entering a fulfillment season, not based on hype, but on holiness. Not a storm of opportunities with no direction, but targeted, intentional release. You will know what is from me because it will not require you to sacrifice your peace, your values, or your sense of identity. It will confirm your calling, not confuse it. It will come with grace, not with striving. This is the beginning of a divine unveiling, a pulling back of the curtain. And when you look around, you'll start to realize you're not behind at all. You're right on time. Every hard season, every quiet year, every slow process, it was all me. Not punishing you, but preserving you. And now I'm ready to release what only the chosen can carry. You've stayed when others left. You've believed when others gave up. You've remained soft when life tried to make you bitter. And now, I reward that faithfulness. I reward that humility. I reward that secret life of obedience that no one else saw. Heaven has not forgotten you. The release has already begun. Watch for it. Stay open. Stay sensitive. Because it's closer than it feels, and this is only the beginning. Now that you've heard the promise, now that you've felt the shift and seen the signs, the next question is not, will I do it? But, will you live like it's already begun? Because faith is not just something you carry in your heart. It's something you express with your life. It's not just belief. It's behavior. Faith becomes real when your daily choices reflect what I've already spoken, even when your circumstances say the opposite. This is where many turn back, not because they don't love me, but because they don't yet trust my timing enough to walk as if the answer has already been set in motion. They wait for proof before they prepare. They wait for resources before they move. They wait for external approval before they obey the internal confirmation. But this journey I've placed you on, this calling, this season of alignment and acceleration, requires movement before manifestation. You don't need to force doors open. You don't need to strive or manipulate outcomes. But you do need to move. You do need to prepare. You do need to begin acting like someone who knows that heaven has already released what earth hasn't caught up to yet. The world says, I'll believe it when I see it. But my sons and daughters say, I'll believe it when you speak, and I'll live like it's already done. So what does that look like in your day-to-day? It means starting with intentionality. I want your mornings, not out of religious duty, but because the first thing you give your attention to shapes your atmosphere. You've allowed distraction to lead the way for too long. But now, I'm calling you to lead your day by the Spirit. Before you pick up your phone, pick up your spirit. Invite me in, not to observe your life from a distance, but to walk with you, speak to you, guide you with clarity. Faith means creating space for me before the chaos begins. It means protecting moments of stillness, even when your to-do list is full. If you keep saying, "I don't have time," you'll keep living reactive. But if you start saying, "This is sacred," everything around you will shift. I don't need hours of your time. I need honest presence. I need room to speak. I need a heart that doesn't just pray, but listens. Faith also means doing what I already told you, even if you don't see results yet. Go back to the last instruction. Did you follow it fully or only partially? Did you delay out of fear? Did you hesitate, hoping for another sign? You don't need more clarity, you need courage. I'm not asking you to build the entire future today. I'm asking you to take the next step, the one you've been avoiding, the one that makes your hands tremble a little. That's where the activation begins. Do not despise small beginnings. Do not roll your eyes at simple obedience. Some of your biggest breakthroughs will be hidden inside the smallest acts of faith. Send the message. Apply for the role. Pray over the plan. Set the boundary. Start the fast. Write the vision. Release the offense. These things are not small. They are sacred. And when you do them with a heart aligned to me, they open spiritual gates that were waiting for your participation. Your actions don't create my promises, but they do position you to receive them. Think of it like a seed. The harvest was always in the seed, but the seed still had to be planted, watered, protected, tended to. That's what you're doing now. Every time you show up in obedience, you are tending the ground of promise, and soon the evidence will break through the surface. Stop living like you're waiting to be picked. I've already chosen you. You're not on the sidelines of my plan. You're in the center of it, and I need you to start living like someone who's been sent. Your schedule should reflect purpose. Your decisions should reflect vision. Your boundaries should reflect identity. Stop apologizing for becoming someone that alignment requires. Faith will cost you comfort. It will stretch your routine. It will require you to confront habits and voices that no longer serve your next season. But I promise, what's on the other side of your obedience is worth every surrender. There's no sacrifice you can make for me that I will not multiply in return. There's no step you take in faith that will return empty. You're not behind, but you're being invited into urgency, not the panic of pressure, but the honor of being on time. There is grace available now that is designed for this moment. Use it. Lean into it. Don't waste it waiting for confirmation you don't need. You've already heard me. You already know what to do. Now live like it. Live like the one I've already called. Live like the one who stays when others quit. Live like someone who knows they are trusted by heaven. You've been asking me to move, and I've been asking you to agree. When your faith matches my decree, things shift. Internally first and then externally. So today, move differently. Speak differently. Expect differently. Act like the one who believes the invisible is already unfolding. This is not hype. This is not emotion. This is spiritual alignment, because only the chosen live by faith, and only the chosen stay until the end. You've been through so much that you started adjusting your identity to fit the pain. You stopped dreaming at full volume. You shrunk your expectations to fit the disappointment. You started walking with cautious heart, not because you lack faith, but because too many things hurt too deeply and went unanswered for too long. That doesn't make you weak. It means you're human. But today, I need you to hear me clearly. You are not who the pain tried to make you become. You are still who I called. You are still who I chose. You've allowed the pressure of the process to whisper lies into your identity. You've begun to accept thoughts like, maybe I'm not called, maybe I missed it, maybe I'm not strong enough for this, or worse, maybe God changed his mind. But I never changed my mind about you. My plans didn't shift when your emotions collapsed. My voice didn't go silent because you stumbled. I do not abandon my designs halfway. I finish what I start, and I started something holy in you. Let me tell you how I see you. I see the one who stayed when others left. I see the one who held on to me, even with trembling hands. I see the one who showed up when it felt like everything was falling apart. I see the one who didn't wait to be applauded to keep obeying. I see the one who still prays when it feels dry, the one who still worships when it doesn't feel powerful, the one who says yes, even when every part of their soul wants to say, I'm done. That is strength. That is faith. That is what I'm building on. Your identity is not what happened to you. It's not the trauma, the betrayal, the abandonment. It's not the disappointment, the failure, the delays. Your identity is not the emotion that still visits you at night, or the anxiety that lingers in your silence. Your identity is not the rejection that haunts your memory. Those things shaped your story, but they did not define your core. I define that, and I say you are chosen, not casually, intentionally. You are not a backup plan. You are not reluctantly included. You were not added last minute. You were seen, formed, known, loved, and sent. You are not behind. You are not broken beyond use. You are not forgotten in a corner of my will. You are my child, my image. My breath is in your lungs. My fire is in your belly. My spirit dwells within you, not as a visitor, but as a permanent presence. I have invested myself in you, not because of your perfection, but because I see the long road you've walked in secret, the loyalty that no one clapped for, the character you chose to protect even when it cost you visibility. You were never invisible to me. Every hidden act of obedience was seen, recorded, remembered, and now rewarded. I want you to stop agreeing with lies. Every time you say, I'm not enough, you're repeating something I never said. Every time you say, it's too late for me, you're contradicting the one who stands outside of time. Every time you say, I can't, without inviting me into the sentence, you're speaking from a place of fear, not identity. Let me be your vocabulary again. Let me retrain how you speak to yourself, about yourself, and through yourself. You are not here to survive. You are here to carry something eternal. That's why the fire came. That's why the pressure was allowed. That's why I had to let certain things die. Because what's inside of you isn't ordinary. You carry solutions. You carry clarity. You carry my presence. And people will see me through you, not just through your strength, but through your scars. I never needed you to be flawless. I needed you to be available. There are still things to build, still things to birth, still things to write, release, create, speak, plant, protect. You are not done. And the version of you that's emerging now, wiser, more surrendered, slower to speak, quicker to discern, less driven by applause, more anchored in truth, that version is the one I trust with greater responsibility. I don't elevate based on charisma. I promote based on character. And what you built in the shadows is what now qualifies you for open doors. Let me say it plainly. You are ready, not because you feel it, but because you're finally walking from a place of truth, not pressure. You're not who you were a year ago. You're not who you were 6 months ago. Look at the weight you can carry now. Look at the things that used to shake you, that no longer hold power. That's not numbness. That's growth. That's maturity. That's identity taking root. And now I restore the voice you've silenced, the joy you buried, the confidence you traded for false humility. I'm calling it all back, not because you need to prove anything, but because you've remembered who you are. And when you walk in that identity, peace returns, clarity returns, power returns. Because those things are not produced by striving. They flow from alignment. You are not a mistake. You are a miracle in motion. You are not a background player. You are part of the move. You are not just enduring. You are establishing something that will outlive you. You are chosen. You are sealed. You are seen. And you will stay. Because only the chosen stay until the end. You've heard me. You've received the promise. You've endured the fire. And now you're being shaped for consistency, not emotional survival, but spiritual maturity. I don't want to just move in your life occasionally. I want to dwell in your rhythm. This next stretch will require more than passion. It will require patterns. That means structure. That means habits rooted in grace, not guilt. That means a spiritual life that isn't seasonal, but sustainable. Let's begin with prayer. I'm calling you to pray again, not only when you're overwhelmed, but when you're at peace. Not only when you need something, but simply because you miss me. You've made prayer complicated. But I never asked for performance. I asked for presence. I want your honesty more than your eloquence. I want your silence as much as your words. I want to hear the sigh you give when no one is around. I want to sit with you when nothing feels urgent. Make prayer your first response, not your last resort. Set a space, not because the space is holy, but because the decision to create room for me changes your mind and posture. It could be 10 minutes. It could be an entire hour. I'm not counting minutes. I'm measuring surrender. I want you to stop looking at prayer as a task and start treating it like breath. You need it, not just to function, but to live with clarity. Without it, you'll begin reacting to life from pressure. With it, you'll start responding from peace. And as you learn to pray with rhythm, I want you to return to my word, not as a box to check, but as a table to eat from. My word is not a textbook. It is life. It is a mirror that reflects what I see in you. A sword that cuts through confusion. A lamp that guides your feet when logic fails. You've gone too long trying to survive on fragments of memory. I'm calling you back to daily encounter. Not long chapters if that's not where you are, but enough for your soul to chew on truth and be sustained. Start small if needed, but be consistent. Read slowly. Let the text read you. Don't just underline verses. Let them underline the lies you've been believing. I want you to sit with my word until it shifts how you think, how you speak, and how you decide. Ask me to open your eyes before you open the page. Read expecting me to talk back. Because I will. I'm not hiding from you in the scriptures. I'm waiting for you in them. Next, your attitude. The way you carry yourself, respond to correction, navigate difficulty. This matters deeply in this next season. I'm forming humility, not insecurity. I'm building patience, not passivity. I'm developing integrity, not image. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. You don't need to prove anything to walk in authority. What I need from you now is teachability. Stay soft. Stay ready to be led. Stay open to me disrupting your preferences for the sake of alignment. Be intentional with your words. Your speech will shape your spirit. Speak life, not hype, but truth. Not empty positivity, but declarations rooted in what I've said. When discouragement shows up, respond with scripture. When fear knocks, respond with remembrance. Don't let your emotions train your language. Let your faith discipline your voice. When you speak my word in faith, the atmosphere around you starts to obey the alignment inside you. I also want you to pay attention to your agreements. What are you saying yes to out of fear of missing out? What have you allowed into your daily life that is draining your focus? This is the season of consecration, not legalism, but refinement. What served you before might not serve you now. Some of your habits need to evolve. Some of your inputs need to be silenced. You can't carry this calling and still feed on what numbs your spirit. Begin managing your peace as a sacred resource. Don't apologize for guarding your mind. Don't hesitate to say no when something violates your clarity. This is not selfishness, it's stewardship. I'm teaching you to live at the pace of grace, not the speed of culture. If you keep running at a pace I never set, you'll keep crashing in places I never sent you. Learn to rest again, not just physically, but spiritually. Rest is warfare against striving. Rest says I trust God is working even when I'm still. Surround yourself with voices that speak to your spirit. You've outgrown some of the environments you've been loyal to. That's not arrogance. That's maturity. Stay connected to people who challenge you to grow in depth, not just success. I will send you mentors. I will bring you into alignment with those who carry oil, not just charisma. But you must make space for new voices by releasing the ones that only feed your comfort. Lastly, practice stillness every day, even for 5 minutes. No music, no distraction, just space. You will begin to hear me again in ways you forgot were possible. You'll begin to notice divine patterns around you. You'll start sensing direction without fear. Stillness is not passivity, it's sensitivity. And sensitivity is how the chosen walk. You're not called to live a reactive life. You're called to live a rooted one. These instructions are not about control. They're about capacity. I'm giving you the lifestyle that sustains what I'm about to release. I'm setting you up for longevity, not just impact. This is how you remain strong through shifting seasons. This is how you last. This is how you stay. Because only the chosen stay until the end. You've waited long enough. You've endured long enough. You've stayed silent long enough. And now, I release this word over your life with full authority. The shift has begun, and nothing can stop what I've appointed to rise through you. There is a window open in the Spirit over your name. A divine appointment has been written into this moment. You didn't earn this by your perfection. You arrived here through surrender, through quiet yeses, through choices made in private obedience, through worship with no audience, through prayers that felt weak but reached me anyway. Heaven has taken record of your endurance, and now comes the release. There is a rapid realignment beginning around you, even if your surroundings still look the same. You may not feel the evidence yet, but you will. And when it begins, it won't unfold gradually. It will open suddenly. Not by coincidence, not by your striving, but by my timing. There are names being released into rooms you haven't walked into. Your name is among them. I'm speaking about you in atmospheres you didn't have access to before, and it's not because you campaigned for it. It's because your name has been marked by my fire. You were hidden, yes, but you were not forgotten. You were preserved, protected, prepared. And now, I will reveal what I've built in the shadows. You will begin to see confirmation in multiple areas at once. Opportunities, provision, reconnection, sudden closure of old cycles, new access points that open without natural explanation. You will feel it first in your spirit. A knowing you can't explain. Don't fight that knowing. Trust it. Lean into it. Follow it. Because I will not leave you guessing in this next stretch. I will guide you with clarity. And when the shift comes, you must not shrink. You must not disqualify yourself. You must not retreat into false humility. Walk into the room like someone who knows they were sent. I have not called you to stand in the corner of what I'm building. I have called you to lead, to carry, to release, to speak, to build. There will be moments that terrify your flesh, but excite your spirit. Step forward anyway. Grace will meet you in motion. You will no longer beg for what I've already said is yours. You will no longer apologize for favor. You will no longer delay obedience out of fear of being misunderstood. This is your time, not to compete, not to prove, but to walk fully aligned. Doors that were locked by man are being opened by my hand, and no one can close what I am unlocking now. I will bring people to support the weight of this calling. You've been carrying too much alone. Help is coming. Aligned help. Not rescue, but reinforcement. Not to fix you, but to build with you. You'll no longer have to over-explain your heart, just to be understood. I'm sending those who see you in the spirit, who recognize what's on your life because they carry weight of their own. I'm also restoring vision, clarity where there was once confusion, strategy where there was once fog, focus where there was once scattered energy. You're not meant to juggle every assignment. I'm bringing your yes into precision. And what remains will multiply. What falls away will not be loss. It will be freedom. There are cycles breaking with this word. Cycles of delay, of emotional exhaustion, of mental fog, of spiritual dryness. These are not seasons to endure. They are assignments from darkness that I'm severing. I have watched you fight battles quietly that others never saw. And now, I'm surrounding you with peace that doesn't make sense, not as a concept, but as a literal, active force. Peace will go before you. Peace will surround your mind. Peace will protect your atmosphere. Even your physical body will begin to respond. Rest will return. Strength will increase. Dreams will become clearer. Sleep will be deeper. Your energy will stabilize. Your discernment will sharpen. Your focus will return. Because I'm not just healing your mind, I'm restoring your capacity. This is your prophetic marker. You have crossed into the fulfillment zone. No more circling, no more cycles, no more wilderness mindset. You are not entering another season of waiting. You are stepping into the manifestation of what was maturing in the secret place. Be ready for divine emails, divine encounters, divine interruption, divine funding, divine strategy, divine authority. These things are not random, they are scheduled, and they are already in motion. I am not just speaking hope over you, I am decreeing activation. And when I speak, what I say becomes. I do not lie, I do not delay without reason, and I do not miss timing. You are on time. This word is on time. The shift is now. And you are the evidence of my faithfulness. Only the chosen stay until the end. And because you stayed, now you will see. Stop everything for a moment. Just breathe. Right here, right now, I am with you. Not as a distant presence, not as a memory. I am in the room. I am in you. I am closer than your own breath, and I am not watching from the outside. I am speaking, moving, filling, healing, cleansing, and reviving you from within. This is not imagination. This is not emotional suggestion. This is encounter. The very thing your soul has longed for without words. The deep rest your body couldn't access. The peace that your mind kept trying to understand. The clarity that no amount of thinking could create. It is here. I am here. The Holy Spirit is not a mood. He is not a force. He is not a season. He is a person. And He is waiting for you to stop managing and start receiving. You have carried tension for so long that you forgot what it feels like to be light. You have been spiritually overloaded, navigating pressure, expectations, responsibility, and pain. You've tried to be strong when I never asked you to. You've tried to fix what was never your burden. But now, I come to exchange the false weight for true presence. This is not a motivational word. This is a divine moment. Let go Let the tears come, let your heart be exposed. Let the breath you've been holding be released. I'm not here to rush you. I'm here to restore you. Restoration is not just about circumstances changing. It's about you changing from the inside out. The fear that kept you small is breaking. The shame that silenced your prayers is dissolving. The pressure that wore you down is being lifted. And in its place, I am pouring oil, peace, joy, strength, stability, love. I'm rewiring the parts of you that have been conditioned by trauma. I am softening the defenses that you built to survive, but that now keep you from receiving. I'm not asking you to be brave. I'm asking you to be present with me. Let me meet you in the space you usually avoid, that quiet place where you've locked away grief, resentment, confusion, and deep questions. I already know what's there. I've been waiting for your permission to enter. Now I enter, and as I enter, things begin to shift inside. Not loudly, but deeply. A realignment, a calming, a softening. Your nervous system will feel it. Your thoughts will slow. Your chest will release. Because when I come, I bring order. I bring life. I bring the sound of heaven that speaks louder than every lie that's been circling your mind. This is more than an emotional release. This is spiritual reconfiguration. I am untying you from patterns you've outgrown. I am closing loops you've been stuck in. I am speaking truth in the places where lies took root. Some of those lies were planted in childhood. Some came from people you trusted. Some were repeated by the enemy in moments of vulnerability. But now I declare, those voices have no authority in you anymore. You're being made whole, not someday. Now, not gradually, instantly. I'm a God of process, yes, but I am also a God of suddenly. And when my spirit is present, transformation doesn't wait. It begins the moment you surrender, and you have. That's why the atmosphere is shifting, even now as you read these words. What once felt impossible is being reframed. What once felt too heavy is being lifted. What once felt far is being brought near. This is not a seasonal high. This is not spiritual hype. This is a divine reintroduction. You're not being rebuilt into the old you. You're being revealed into the real you, the version of yourself formed in intimacy with me, not shaped by pain or fear. I'm healing not only your history, but your interpretation of it. I'm going back to moments you've tried to forget and washing them with grace. You will not move forward dragging shame behind you. You will not build a future on top of a cracked foundation. I'm not layering new things over old trauma. I'm going to the root, and I'm healing it at the source. You will begin to feel lighter, more present, more peaceful, not because circumstances have changed, but because you've been changed. You will walk into familiar places with unfamiliar confidence. You will enter conversations no longer needing to prove anything. You will worship not from desperation, but from intimacy. You will pray not to be heard, but to hear. You will move through your day with a sense of being anchored. This is the life I always intended for you, one where the Spirit is not an accessory, but a companion, a counselor, a guide, a friend. I do not live in your Sunday mornings. I dwell in your Monday routines. I'm not a moment. I'm a dwelling place. You are my home, and I take care of what I inhabit. So rest, not because everything makes sense, but because I make sense inside of you. Let me continue what I started. Let me finish the healing I began. Let me walk with you, not ahead of you, not behind you, but beside you. This is not just another message. This is an encounter. This is the infusion of real life, holy breath, and divine rhythm. Now you've heard me. Now you've felt me. Now you know, deep in your spirit, that something shifted. And it wasn't just a moment of clarity. It was a divine transaction. I took the weight. I broke the cycle. I rewrote the narrative. And now, I declare with all of heaven as witness, you are no longer the same. You have crossed a spiritual line. The old language will no longer fit in your mouth. The old fears will no longer have authority in your body. The old version of you has no claim to what I am doing now. You've outgrown it. You've outlived it. You've stood firm when others fell away. And for that, I crown you, not with pride, but with purpose. You've stayed when it didn't make sense. You've prayed when it didn't feel powerful. You've obeyed when it cost you. You've waited when no one was watching. And now you walk as the one who stayed. You will begin to notice it immediately. The clarity, the flow, the ease, the favor, the fire. It won't be chaotic. It will be coordinated. I am not rushing you. I am releasing you. You're not being forced into action. You're being drawn into alignment. This is not a sprint. It's a sustained walk of authority. You'll move from overflow, not overwork. From presence, not pressure. This is where everything I've taught you starts to show. Not in one dramatic day, but in every small decision you make with clarity and conviction. You won't always feel it, but you'll know it, because my spirit is now woven into your rhythm. Your mind will begin to think differently. Your speech will carry weight. Your silence will carry peace. Your presence will carry me. And when opposition rises, and it will, remember this moment. Not because it was emotional, but because it was eternal. You were marked here, called here, activated here. And nothing the enemy throws at you can erase what I've written over you. So I send you now, not into perfection, but into purpose. Not to perform, but to abide. Not to prove, but to walk in what's already true. You don't need to earn what's been spoken. You need only to remain in it. Because this is the evidence of the chosen. They don't chase moments. They build endurance. They walk in presence. And they stay. Amen. Share this message with someone who feels like giving up, but was born to last. Leave a like so this message can find someone who needs it. Turn on notifications to stay connected with every new word that heaven releases.